much. Everything working? Everything working? Good. So first of all, can we have a round of applause for Shana and for Now, I'm going to speak just for a few minutes so that we can get back on track with our schedule. What?
There's two microphones facing each other. This one's off.
Yeah, those ones are supposed to be on. Okay, I just want to provide a little context for this, and I want to basically thank you all for coming as well.
I can't remember setting it up
And thanks,
some people are still
give
reporting
some
issues.
appreciation to our sponsors,
They said they're having trouble
especially
getting into it.
MSL Group and Sander Mechanical for bronze level founding sponsors for us,
Maybe.
for making this
Yeah,
event
that's what I
possible.
don't know. You'll have to.
I also want to just logistically, we have a lot of information to, convey. So we're actually not going to be taking breaks per se between now and noon. We're going to go through the presentations. However, we are going to try to get as much time as possible for questions to make sure that, first of all, you are clear about the value that PACE provides. Secondly, that you do get your questions answered, and if you don't get them all answered right here, we're available to you at any time. So, to begin with, I'd just like to find out who's actually in the audience. How many people here are from out of state, out of New Jersey? Okay, so quite a contingent. How many folks here are capital providers for PACE? Okay, a handful there. Energy services contractors, builders, or solar installers? Great. Local, state and local officials? Okay. And property owners and managers, facility managers? Yeah. Everybody else? Be interested to hear a little bit from you as to what what your interest is. So when you ask a question, just identify yourself and identify your company. You may not all be aware that we are live streaming this event. We had more than 270 people register for it. There's only 245 seats in the auditorium. So we basically shut off the RSVPs and told people they could do the live streaming. And it seems like a number of people have taken advantage of that, which makes it more comfortable for the rest of us. Our speakers today cover the entire range of stakeholders, from major property owners to investors, from contractors to mortgage bankers, from municipal officials to major nonprofits. We have a lot of information to get across in a very short time, and if you want to be truly informed, I urge you to check out our website, as well as the website of PACENow and a number of others. So, the key framework that I want to provide as a context for this is that why we got into PACE and why we are so keen on bringing the program to New Jersey is that we see it as having a transformative capacity. Transforming the economy, certainly, and transforming the built environment, helping us to become more energy efficient, to rely more on renewables, and to become more resilient in the face of sea level rise and extreme weather events, which we all know are happening in increasing numbers. The potential for PACE is enormous. Senator Smith has stated between ESIP, which is for public properties, and PACE, which is for private properties, New Jersey could become the most energy efficient the cleanest and the most resilient states in the nation. But this will only happen if we're all pulling in the same direction, which is why everyone's interests need to be considered and why we're really asking all of you to be proactive in your support for PACE in New Jersey. The challenge, it turns out, is one of implementation, really, because PACE is a municipal program, actually developed by a local municipal official, and so it has to be implemented at the local level. And with 565 municipalities, each one of them that wants to participate has to pass an ordinance, establish a program, and become savvy about the mechanisms for doing collections and remittances of assessment payments. So with that, I'm going to introduce our first panel. We will come back to some of these issues later on, or I will come back to some of these issues later on, and certainly be happy to answer questions. Actually, I'm going to ask Victoria to introduce our first panel. Victoria Zelin is Director of Development for the Center for Regenerative Community Solutions, and that's the name of our nonprofit. We realize it's kind of a mouthful, so we call it CRCS. But it does state exactly what we're really trying to accomplish, which is to say to revitalize communities. And we understand that the key to revitalizing communities is bringing capital to bear to address some of the issues that can only be done that way. So Victoria is Director of Development for the organization. And please welcome her.
Thank you. Such a dream come true to have so many people who know enough about PACE to know this is going to be big time in New Jersey when we get PACE in New Jersey. So thank you for being part of the first kind of public event where people can find out about PACE in a forum with experts. And the first panel we have, I'd like to call up David Gabrielson, Bert Hunter, and Andrew Chins, who will tell you about their experiences at the national level in Connecticut and New York. And Connecticut and New York, if you know anything about PACE, you know that Connecticut is just a blockbuster, hockey stick ramp up to success. Well, first, and New York is fast coming up, very well organized, and has a lot of similarities with what we're doing at New Jersey PACE. And so at this point, I know a little more than you do about New York, and so I'm really thrilled to have Andrew Chins here for this. But let me tell you a little bit about David. And if you have a program, this is in the bios of the program as well. And if anyone doesn't have a program, could you raise your hand and our interns will give you a program? Okay. Yes.
To read the program.
John? Yeah, let's get to that. You have David's
We paid for that. Oh, but this is the same stuff.
Okay, great. Good. So David Gabrielson, Executive Director of PACENow, was introduced to PACE while developing Energize Bedford, an energy efficiency financing program for homes in Bedford, New York, where he has served as an elected councilman since 2008. Previously, David was an investment banker to state and local government with Credit Suisse, First Boston, and JP Morgan. I'll introduce all of the panelists, and then David will come up and each one of them in succession, and then we'll leave a good part of the hour for this panel for Q&A. So take note of your questions. We're going to ask you to hold the questions until all three have spoken. For one particularly good reason is that David will speak, he'll generate questions that Bert will answer, and if Bert doesn't answer them, Andrew may answer them, and then we'll be able to come up with new material for other people that have questions. So Bert Hunter is Executive Vice President and Chief Investment Officer of Connecticut Green Bank. Bert leads the development of innovative clean energy financing programs for Connecticut. Bert was Vice President of Finance and Chief Financial Officer of Spectrum Capital Limited, an investment bank, and managed the funding for a $1 billion portfolio when he was with Chemical Bank. And Jonathan, can we get the signs? There, that's great. So we'll get you the names too. Andrew Chintz is director at National Public Finance Guarantee Corporation, MBIA, and Energy Improvement Corporation. And he was the former chairman of the board for the New York Energy Improvement Corporation. Andrew is active in community environmental organizations. His involvement in the development of a local PACE program spoke directly to his background in municipal finance, community development, and affordable housing. Andrew is a primary manager of a $10 billion housing portfolio at National Public Finance Guarantee Corporation. Thank you. So, David, you're first up. Great. And would you prefer a lavalier? Yeah. This is where it is.
What's that? You can hear me? Yes? Where do I go to get? While they're getting all the audio visuals, hi, I'm David Gabrielson, and I want to thank Jonathan and Victoria and everyone else involved in putting this symposium together today. It's great to be here and see all of you and see all this great enthusiasm for PACE. It's fun to be in Princeton. I grew up in New England, where that other school is.
Backup systems here. As you can presumably tell, not the kind of event that we've been organizing for 3 years. We've basically been working behind the scenes, and this is our first event to try and bring this to the public. So, what's this one?
No.
What do you like to do?
Start with this, and then I'll click to the movie. We're going to start with the movie. Well, once when I was an investment banker, I had to give a little talk in Marseilles, Illinois, at our American Legion Hall, and on a pooled loan program. And I was from New York and never done this before in my life, and everyone was very nice with red check tablecloths and fried chicken dinner. And I had a slide projector with like 60 slides, which was about 50 too many. And I got all set. I was never done. I was nervous as hell. And plugged in the projector and boom, the bulb blew. Not to worry, I brought a spare bulb. We plugged that one in, boom, it blew too. So I had to do the whole thing from memory. And everyone was so nice. They had no idea what I was talking about, but they were really, really nice. And now, in a minute, we're going to want to go to the video, so don't go away. So, hi again. Thank you. I'm David Gabrielson. I'm the executive director of PACENow. I'm going to just quickly say that PACENow is a not-for-profit, almost entirely foundation-funded kind of booster, an advocate for property-assessed clean energy. As Victoria mentioned, I got persuaded to run for office. I'm running for re-election this year, which is a horrible thing. To my town board in Bedford, New York, where I live, and we have a very active energy advisory panel. They came to us in early 2009 and said, let's do a PACE program. What's that? And I learned a little bit about it, and it kind of clicked with me because I got the finance side of it, having been a municipal finance banker, and I'm serving in local government. The public-private partnership government connection with PACE is really important. And I've always been kind of an armchair environmentalist, more so now maybe than I was in the past. And so all of that clicked, and I got very involved in it. And one thing led to another, and the opportunity to build this not-for-profit came along in late 2010, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So you can see some of our funders. We provide information, resources, advice, good or bad, networking. We do a lot of connecting people. You know, someone here, this is a little science experiment going on around the United States of America, and most people involved are learning as we go and figuring things out. And so connecting people is important. We do problem solving, and that's our website. I want to show this little video. It's exactly 90 seconds.
Okay.
For those of you that might not be familiar with PACE, but it'll get everybody sort of refreshed.
You just go from there. You just sit there.